Hello and welcome to ESC Fan TV's Wednesday night offering. Tonight we're going to be looking at Iceland, Moldova and Slovenia to see what they've got on offer for us. As always, I've got a panel of guests with me, and don't forget to click that like and subscribe button when you're looking on YouTube, and don't forget you can also catch us on TuneIn, Stitcher, Snitcher, the one that I can never remember.
Stitcher, nearly.
Stitcher. It is Stitcher, iTunes, and so on afterwards. This could even be your podcast on the way to work tomorrow morning. So we're going to kick ourselves straight off this evening with Iceland. Now, Iceland, this could potentially, if we're believing in fate, in the way the years work, this could be their year. They came second in 1999. They came second in 2009. But sadly, Iceland haven't been the best at Eurovision so far. They've failed to qualify past the semi-final stage ever since they got to the final in 2014. That was with No Prejudice, where they came 15th with 58 points. Ari Olafsson last year represented them with Our Choice, and sadly, they didn't just fail to qualify out the semi-final, they came last in the semi-final as well. Just a moment, please. Just enough. Right, so they are having a series of finals. They had a final with 5 songs in, a semi-final with 5 songs in last weekend. They've got another semi-final with 5 songs in this weekend. From each of them, 2 songs are going forward to a grand final on the 2nd of March, where there'll be 4 songs, and then finally a super song where the 2 songs compete, and that's held on the 2nd of March. So, first of all, let's go to Joe for the panel. Who are the ones to watch in this final?
Well, the semi-final this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. I've got. I quite like Sunday Boy, and I'm not going to pronounce it. Is it Hydron Anna? I think her name is. I really like that. It's just quite bouncy, and she's got a really nice quality to her voice, which is great. I like that. Whether that will go through, I don't know, because there's Omar, and also there's a lady called Tara, maybe, or Moby Fights for Love, and that seems to be quite a fan favourite. Again, I think it's the week of the 2 semis. I do think the 2 that got through last week will probably fight in the super final.
Okay, interesting. Now, just in case you weren't watching the Icelandic semi-final last weekend, it was Hera Björk, who represented Iceland in 2010, that got through with the song Moving On. And also Hatari also got themselves through to the final as well. A very interesting act this year. Wouldn't you agree, Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, it's a diverse year all told. Hatari. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the song. It's for me, it's unpronounceable. I'm sure someone in the panel will do a better job. Techno, punk, rock, BDSM inspired costumes. What's not to love about Hatari? The fact that they have a pretty mediocre song, in my opinion. They consider themselves an anti-capitalist BDSM techno performance arts group. It's not art, Jack, but I know what I like, and it's certainly not this.
Now, Stuart, have you been keeping up with the news? Have you seen the fact that they have actually challenged the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, to a Icelandic-style wrestling match in Tel Aviv on the 19th of May, if they get through?
What was that name you just quoted there? Benjamin what? Sorry, Tom?
Netanyahu.
See, I think given what the costumes they're wearing, it would have been better if you'd said Benjamin Ingrosso. That would have worked better for me. That sounds more sort of in keeping with their style. Now, look, I'm not a fan of this. I know many people that are. I'll probably get slaughtered for saying it. It's not my taste, not my cup of tea, dear. For me, this should not win for Iceland, but probably will.
Okay. Well, Joe's already mentioned it, that Hera Björk is likely to get through to the super final. Do you think that represents serious competition, Tristan, or who else would you see getting through to that final and representing Iceland this year?
I don't think Hera Björk's song is very good. I mean, obviously, he's on a patch on Je ne sais pas pourquoi. She didn't get through the following time that she tried to represent Iceland, or she didn't. I don't see that her song is very good at all. I do quite like Hatari's song, to be honest. I quite like industrial techno. I go to a club called Antichrist occasionally, and they play a lot of that sort of stuff there. It's quite good, and what was amazing about it, because when I saw the video, I thought they're never going to be able to do this on stage, but it was just as good vocally on stage than it was in the video. So hats off to them, because I just thought they wouldn't be able to pull it out. It would be awful. I only really liked Hatari in that first semi-final. In the second semi-final, the one coming up, yeah, I agree with Joanna. Hadrian Anna's Sunday Boy, definitely the English version. Hopefully she'll get to sing the English version. She'll be singing the Icelandic version this Saturday, and if she is one of the two that go through, then she'll be singing the English version in the Icelandic final. But that Sunday Boy song, such a sweet song, and her voice has got a real innocence to it, and I really just hope that she can sing live well, because it's a beautiful little song. And the other song which I think will go through on Saturday is Frederick Omar. Of course, Omar is one half of Eurobandit, who represented Iceland very well a few years ago. This is My Life, or whatever it's called.
I was going to say, I hate to break it to you, Tristan.
Yeah.
Not just was it a few years ago, it's been 11 years since they represented.
He does look a lot older, I must say. I mean, he's got a bit of stubble and stuff, but it's a great song, and he's got so much passion in his voice when he sings. So as far as slow songs are concerned, that's the only one I really like. There's another song that might get through, which is a bit silly, by Ellie Grill, Scavi, and Glimur on Saturday. The lyrics are really, really silly. I mean, I've translated them into English. It's just and it's very sort of, I don't know. It might get through because it might be quite fun on stage, but I'm hoping it'll be Hadrian Anna and Friedrich Omar and Hatari for the actual win. If Hatari do win, though, I think they might have to change some of their lyrics, because translating them from Icelandic into English, it's quite political. They say Europe will crumble, there will be unilateral punishments, and a web of lies will arise from the ashes. So
that could be just the thing that Eurovision needs this year.
Yes, maybe
in the current climate. Just want to bring Yana in on this. Obviously, everyone's with a 10-song contest anyway. Obviously, there's not a huge amount of choice there. But are you in line with the panel, or are you thinking that there are other songs there that you'd like to see qualify?
Well, for starters, I don't like this song from Hatari. Not my style, not my cup of tea. I really don't like that kind of songs. But I do like the song Sunny Boy as well from Hedrun Anna Björnsdottir. I think it's really nice. Even I like the Icelandic version as well. Really nice, nice song with a nice voice. It really works all together. And my second choice would be Tara Moby with the song Fighting for Love. I really think that is also a contender for the final, because it's one of the only really up-tempo 2019 kind of songs, you know. I think that can do very well. And I have Fredrik Omar on my third place, so any one of them would do for me.
Do you know what? I have to say, Yana, by putting Tara Moby in your top 3, I'm with you all the way on that one. I think that's a fantastic song. I reckon that's going to do really well. I would say I can't really see the fuss over Sunday Boy. I've listened to it. I don't necessarily get it. The thing that really gets me with this is that I think if they were to send a song like that, I think they could be looking at a similar result to last year, which is a shame.
I don't think so. I think last year was, I'm not going to use the word boring, but
Yeah, it was boring.
It wasn't very good. It was. Well, I'm
We
going to
can
use
call
the
it
word
boring.
He was
It's fine.
cute. He's so cute.
But you're not going to win Eurovision by being cute. You
I
know?
know.
It's like you have to have a song that speaks to people. He was cute. He had a nice voice, but the song was just not for him. It was like really old-fashioned. And I think the song "Sunny Boy" is so much better than that.
Yeah.
I think she has more chances of qualifying than the guy last year. I forgot his name.
Sorry.
Aria Olafsson.
Don't forget, there is also a wild card, so there might in fact be 3 going through this on Saturday. The judges do have the option of putting through an extra 5th entry.
And that could make all the difference potentially. Now, the question on my lips for the panel, I'm going to go to Stuart first on this one. I've said about trends, Iceland, 2nd, 1999, Selma, All Out of Luck. Iceland, 2nd, 2009, Johanna, Is It True? Iceland, 2019, Stuart?
Bottom of the pack, Tom. Not a chance in hell. Look, I think this is a case of Iceland having poor taste of selection. You had 2 fantastic songs in semi-1, which didn't make it. And I'd just like to shout out to you, Tom, for actually telling me these didn't qualify. Otherwise, I could have really embarrassed myself this evening. The song Pordis Insland with What Are You Waiting For? It's absolutely beautiful. Up-tempo pop. Really beautiful. Really would have been happy with this winning for Iceland and going on to Tel Aviv and doing really well. But the song, Tom, the song I want to talk about, the song by Daniel Oliver, Licky Licky. Benjamin Ingrosso inspired pop dance, fantastic lyrics. I had to do a double play just to get my head around this one. I want everybody to see your Licky Licky Licky. Like your ice cream for me, so licky, licky, licky. I want to see you sexy, so licky, licky, licky. That's the song I should have sent to Tel Aviv. You've just robbed the Eurovision world of this fantastic song.
Potentially not, though. There is a wild card. Tristan,
that's my wild card.
There is a wild card.
Tristan, tell me that's going to be the wild card.
Oh,
He's
Tristan,
put himself on mute.
You need to take your mic off of mute, Tristan.
He's telling me, but without the audio.
Take the mute off.
He can't press the button.
There we go. He's back.
Am I?
Yes, you
Yay!
are. You turned the camera off at the same time, but you're back audio. It's fine. Right.
I can hear you.
I'll just go back to Johan again. Do you think that this is going to be Iceland's year, or is this just going to be another list of them just not making it past the semi-final?
That's a really difficult one. It obviously depends on the other songs, but I think they have to have different, and it's very much going to be a case of different versus fan favourite for me anyway. I can't really see them doing the 3, the second place this time round, even with Hatari, to be honest.
And let's be honest, Tristan's the man with the stats. Iceland's, they're in the second half of the first semi-final. Surely that's a bit of a big ask anyway.
It will probably be. I think it will be. I mean, unless if Hatari go through, then people just might be the media might be start talking about it, and it might sort of get sort of people voting just the anti-Eurovision vote, as it were, just to sort of like put something through that would be funny. But yeah, I don't think they'll get through otherwise.
It might happen. Now, from the Northern European country of Iceland, we move to something that's been a little bit more successful in recent years, and we turn our attention to Moldova. Now, Moldova in recent years has been absolutely brilliant on the Eurovision scene, I think it's fair to say. Whilst they didn't qualify for the semi-finals 2014 to 2016, they qualified with the Sunstroke project in 2017 and came third in the grand final. Then you had Doridos last year, who came second in their semi-final, 10th in the final, with what I think was quite an imaginative entry, which was, if you see the videos on YouTube of how they did it behind as well, absolutely fantastic with the doors opening and so on and so forth. They're in the first half of semi-final 2. They're selecting their entry on the 3rd of March this year, and they've got 10 songs going through. Jörna, what are the top entries for you in Moldova?
My top entries, I'm going to take a look first. What I had first place, Lemonique with Gravity. I actually like that song. It's better than the rest of the selection, to be honest, because I think if Moldova selects like a ballad I don't think they're going through to the final, because their semi-final is like a bloodbath already, because you have a lot of countries already qualifying each year or almost each year. So, but I do like Lemonique, Gravity.
Yeah.
That's my first place. My second place is GMD or something with the song Superman. And my third place is Diana Brescan, Lies. That's kind of the really top for me. The rest is like meh. It's not a really good selection. But
now, one thing I would say about this selection, I think there is a lot of variety in the Moldovan selection this year, possibly more so than Iceland. Would you agree with that? Would you?
Well, it's better than Iceland, and they have a bit more diversity. But I think the most diverse selection is for Portugal this year. But we're not talking about that. But Moldova is, it's kind of like in the middle for me, you know.
Fair to middling, as we would say over here. I'll bring Stuart into this as well. Have we got any bangers? Have we got any where you are going to say, there will be fire?
I think the problem with Moldova is that they've taken part 14 times, qualified 10 times, and come third in the last 2 years, as you quite rightly said, Tom. There is an expectation with Moldova now. So if they drop their level of quality, it really shows and will surprise. And given their position in the semi-finals, I think the 10 songs that they have presented in their final are relatively weak. That's the problem. I actually completely agree with Jörna. I can't, in the order that you gave, Jörna, completely agree, which I think is quite telling. I think that suggests that there's probably only 2 or 3 songs with the ability to go to Eurovision. And bearing in mind, we haven't seen these live yet. It could very well be the 2 songs, the 3 songs that we think have the most potential are the songs which are sung poorest or performed poorest in the final, which presents Moldova with an even bigger problem. If they send Lemonique with the song Gravity, I've written here, Tom, almost a banger. That's as near as I got. That's as near as I got. So sadly, this won't be fire. This is nearly a banger.
I feel let down.
But the thing that I think picks this up is I haven't looked beyond the fact there's a guy dressed as Bugs Bunny in a metal space bunny hat, which I think is, you've got to throw everything at a Eurovision song. And they thought, well, what could we do that's different? I know what we do today. Let's weld together a bunny's hat out of a bit of scrap metal, and we'll stick it on our backing singer. That'll work. That'll look really cool. This has the potential to do something. Beyond that, I think it's a really average year for Moldova, and I'm disappointed for them.
Me too.
Joe, I'm going to bring you in on this. Is Lemonique the top of your list as well?
Certainly is, absolutely. There's a part of it that's really catchy. it's a little bit of dance music, and it's actually catchy. And I can just go away, and that people who've only heard it once or twice, I can hear them go, you know, and actually singing it in their head before they go and vote or something. It's the only one for me, I'll be honest. There is a song there, and I don't know who the artist is. I can't read my writing. It's someone called Elisaveta. Is it MD Elisaveta? It's a little bit shouty, but there's a bit of slight traditionalism in there somewhere. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, that could do okay, depending on what it does on the night. But for me, this was really the only one.
Subparmint. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I probably haven't, but
I could not pronounce it whatsoever. Something featuring Elisaveta or something like that. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah. So, Joe, would you see Moldova getting through the semi-final this year, given the fact they're in semi-final 2, which is perceived to be the weaker of the two? Yeah, easier semi, but then, yeah, I don't know. I mean, because they're Moldova, potentially, yes. They have a lot of friends, a lot of people like them. So, yeah, on that basis, more than on the basis of the song, if I'm honest. It's a shame. So, you know, they're usually such a great country, and we love looking forward to watching the national final.
Just a small caveat to that, though, Joe. I agree with you. And you can make a case for a lot of countries, can't you, qualifying on the basis of their relationships with other neighbouring countries. There's just one thing that bothers me with this selection, and the word I'm going to use is Romania. Romania 2018. Everyone thought the Humans would qualify. Most people thought it was a bang average song. There were exceptions either way, but in my opinion, it was a bang average song, and it failed to qualify. We may see this again with Moldova.
Could
happen.
Yeah. Yes, I think so too.
We need to bring Tristan on this. Yep. Tristan, so far, we've got 3 votes saying that Lemonique is the best song in this semi-final. Now, I know you in particular were telling us earlier how you'd actually watched the Moldovan auditions for their final. Are Lemonique top of the pile for you, or are you thinking to yourself, in actual fact, they've let the winner slip through their fingers?
Well, they've certainly let the winner slip through their fingers. The winner should have been Lume with Ca Adriano Celentano, which is a really sort of fast Balkan-style song, which has got ethnic but also modern as well. And there's the girl who sings really, really fast to it. It's a fantastic tune. And that song, I think, would have actually ended up in the top 3 in Tel Aviv. But they let that through. They let so many songs through. Alistair Mars had a great song called High. Then he had Yuri Sadovic and Legenda sang a fascinating sort of song called Robin Hood, which is, I mean, they're all online. You can watch the whole auditions on YouTube, and it's there are so many good songs, and even they just made so many wrong decisions. I mean, Che MD, you've mentioned already, they actually had another song that didn't have Elisaveta Isiayuk singing with them, and the other song, which is much better, yet they put the one that Elisaveta sings with them on. So they made so many mistakes. I do quite like Lemonique Gravity. It's my 3rd favourite, though.
Now,
so I
this
do
is controversial, Tristan. Let's pause for a moment. This is controversial because we've got 3 people here that are thinking that Lemonique is that dead cert.
No, it's not a dead cert at all. I mean, I do like Lemonique, and I like the guy with the bunny hat as well. If you look online, they've got some other videos, some other songs. One called Demons, which was quite good that they did recently, and he wears the hat, this mask there as well. So that's sort of like their trademark. But there are 2 songs which I think will do better. One is Vera Țurcanu, Gold, and Cold. Now she came 2nd last year with a song called Black Heart. And that was a pretty poor song. It was quite a gothic song, but he still managed to come 2nd. This year, her song this year is much better. It's written by Swedes, David Gullring, and it's really good because you've got these like 2 spurts of drum and bass that appear in the song. So like it's slow, and then you get a drum and bass bit, and then it's slow, and then you get a drum and bass bit, and it's slow again. And it's really exciting, and I think that one could win, especially if she only came 2nd last year.
Do you think that's one that's with the presentation of it that could be something that they could do something with that might just push them over when it comes to.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. But there is another song that, if they put it through, I mean, and not many people will like this, but it's Aurel Certuacha, and it's called La Cinema. And it's a guy who it's got really. I mean, I don't really like the slow ballads normally, but this song is. It's very wordy. It's got very jazzy as well. He does say "Yasine Baula Cinema" lots and lots of times, which can get on your nerves a little bit. But it's very San Remo, and it's you can imagine it as being in the San Remo Song Festival. It would fit in perfectly. And of course, if that does get through, Italy do vote in the second semi-final. So I could see Italy giving that 12 points.
Do you know what I have to say, Tristan?
Yeah.
Right. You have stolen my thunder entirely because I have as my top song La Cinema.
Yeah.
Because I think the jazziness there, I was listening to it and I was thinking to myself, this has great overtures of Madness of Love, which represented Italy in 2011. And I thought to myself, in actual fact, if they select this could be the surprise package. Now, remember, of course, Madness of Love didn't do as well as it could have done with the public, but the juries put it up there. And I'm thinking that potentially could be Moldova's key to success this year.
Yep.
I think. Stuart, bring you in on that. La Cinema, did it come anywhere in your top three?
Yeah, last. Me and Tristan have very different styles of music, so there's no real surprise. But look, I could see the beauty of it. It's just not my style, not my thing. Have got some comments in the chat room though, Tom.
Aha.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of activity this evening. Karen's is saying the Moldovan selection is weak AF. I won't pronounce that in its true form. David Rye has said Moldova is a letdown compared to last year. Elliot has agreed, so it's become more of a song contest, and your name doesn't get you as far as it would have in previous years. Lume, Madness of Love. Sorry, I think Elliot's disagreeing with what we're saying about Madness of Love. Would like to make a quick point though. There are several people in the chat room, but no one is actually clicking that like button. Please do that, and also please click the subscribe button. It's really important. Back to you, Tom.
Yeah.
Cool. Now we are going to press on and move on, looking at our final country of the evening, which arguably could be seen as the most important, given the fact they're selecting their entry not at the start of March, but they're selecting their entry this Saturday. We are talking, of course, about Slovenia. They're going to be performing in the first half of the first semi-final. Now, Slovenia, let's be honest, it's a mixed bag for them. They've only qualified for the final 5 times since the semi-finals were introduced in 2004. Their best placing, in actual fact, was before the semi-finals were introduced, both in 1995 and 2001, where they came 7th. Most notably, 2001 was Nestorenda with Energy. Now, last year, they failed to qualify out of that semi-final with Havala. And this year, they have got what I think is quite a varied selection. We'll go across to Tristan, first of all, for this. Are there any songs there that you think are going to make it their 6th qualification to the grand final?
Yeah, there is definitely one song there that I think will win, and that's Ula Lozar. She represented Slovenia. She's only 17 years old. She represented Slovenia in the Junior Eurovision in 2014. And that song it's got a sort of like a real fun electro swing feel to it. It's much more on point than Estonia's The Swingers or anything like that. It's sort of much fresher, and I think it'll be a shoo-in for the final because it's also written by Marija, who obviously represented Slovenia as well, and it will definitely, because I think the way the Slovenia are doing it this year, they're not doing a big televote and jury final like they did last year, where all the people could vote for everything. They're having all 10 songs, and then a jury will choose 2 songs to go through to a final that there'll be a televote on, which means that one of them's probably going to be Raiven, and I'm sure you guys will be talking about Raiven. I do like Raiven. It'll be my other favourite as well, but I think it's a given that she's going to get through because she was the head of the jury last year. She came 3rd the year before. She came 2nd the year before that. So this year, and she actually presented the national final last year, co-presented it. So this year, it's going to be, I imagine, they'll put her through because she's so well connected, and it's a really fun song.
That could be something to look out for then.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that she's there with the song, but also that if she doesn't get through to that jury final, that's going to be a big upset in Slovenia as well on Saturday.
So I think it'll be a 2-horse race between Ula Lozar and Raiven, and the people will go for Ula Lozar because they don't really like Raiven that much. She only came 3rd. When I say only came 3rd, when last year, she came. The year before last, which she came. I think the BQL got 5 times more televotes than she did.
Okay, so
I don't think the public don't really like her as much as the
juries do.
The juries will. So okay. I think, and it's going to be only that final 2 will be just up to them. Let's
drag Jörna into this. Jörna, obviously Tristan's selected Ula and Raiven as the potentials there for that 2-song runoff. Are there any other songs there that you're thinking, in actual fact, no, these are the songs that I think are going to do better?
Well, I agree with Ula. I also like her song. I think it's fresh, modern. I think a lot of young people are going to vote for it because it appeals to them. But my favorite is actually Kim with Rhythm Back. I really like that one. It has like this kind of American vibe to it. I think, that's a contender for the final or the super final as well. Maybe I think Kim and Ula are my top 2 favorites for the Slovenian selection.
And I have to say, Jörna, you are totally bang on with me there. I've got Kim Rhythm Back to You down there as my number 1 for that Slovenian final. Now, obviously, we know Stuart is always on the lookout for those things that are just a little bit different. He's looking for the entries where there will be fire. So, Stuart, what are we thinking?
Well, Tom, I nearly jumped out of my seat when I saw that Jimmy Johnson from last week's show, Melodie Festivalen, has made his way into Slovenia this year. That guy not only has moved from desk to desk in the Melodie Festivalen stadium, he's found his way into Slovenia as well. What is going on there? So, yeah, I mean, that's for me, that was a big surprise. I really liked Kim and the song Rhythm Back to You until I realised it was quite ultimately a Melodie Festivalen reject. One of the songs.
Nothing wrong with Melodie Festivalen rejects.
I disagree. I think there is. I think there's too many of them, and you get that Swedish sound coming through loud and clear. We all love it, of course. We all love a Swedish sound, but it does detract from the sort of the national sort of style that you get from some of these countries, and I sort of feel that there. It sticks out like a sore thumb, and it strikes me as a song that could potentially win in Slovenia. And I think that would be a real shame. Not that it's a bad song, just it's not Slovenian. That's what I want to hear in Eurovision. I want to hear Slovenian. Loved Lea Sirk last year. And, that was what I want to see again from Slovenia. What else do I like? I was
going to say, what else are you going to... So if you want to see something that is Slovenian, what is ticking all the boxes for you?
Well, I was going to say Ula, but that song's written by Marlia, but also an American Charlie Mason. I think probably the one that's going to win is going to be Raiven. I'm not personally a big fan of it with the song Kaos, but she's taken part in EMA a couple of years. of the last few. She's got close a couple of times. The song's a bit trippy. Yeah, I'm not sure who was smoking what when they wrote that song, but never touched the stuff. But my God, that someone was on something when they wrote that. However, it sounds a bit like Enya on speed, in my opinion. But I quite like it. 6.5, 7 out of 10. It will do so-so in Eurovision. If you look at the trend in EMA with Slovenia, if you take Aliyah Cirque as an example, she took part many years and finally she got it. This is Raiven's year.
Interesting. Joe, need to bring you in. Are we going to see Slovenia in the grand final? If so, what song is it going to be?
That's a really good question. I do like Ula, I have to say, and also Kim. So I'm in agreement with both with all of you, really. However, I do think I think probably the only one that's going to qualify would probably be Raiven, if I'm honest. So I think if Slovenia, if I'm sitting here as a Slovenian, for example, say what's going to get through and be different, it would be her, because Leah was different in the gimmick that she pulled on, where she sort of stopped everything and pretended it all broke down. That worked for her in the semi-final. She got through, and I just think that it's probably going to be Raiven. I hope it's not, if I'm honest.
So what would you go for?
I would probably go for Ula.
Something else. Ula?
Yeah, I'd go for Ula. I do like that. There's a nice bit of jazzy in there. Bit of jazz. It's quite nice. Yeah, that one for me.
There are a couple of songs there that I'd actually like to pick the panel up on, because there's 2 songs that I've put stars by in the Slovenian final that I haven't actually heard any of you mention this evening. So I'm going to go back across to Stuart, because I think this is a fantastic name for a group, by the way. Lumberjack and Le Pod DNA.
Yes, love it, Tom. Love it. What a great song. And if you translate Leps to DNA, it actually translates as, and I kid you not, the beauty of the bottom.
Oh, see?
That's its literal translation, certainly according to Wiki. And let's face it, you can go and edit anything in Wikipedia these days. But yeah, the beauty of the bottom. Hard rock, 5-piece band, what's not to love?
Exactly. Fantastic. And Tristan, just getting your opinion on Rane and Nipov. I probably haven't even pronounced that right.
It was my least favourite. I absolutely couldn't stand it at all. It was. I haven't really got anything to say about it. One thing I did actually forget to mention, though, Stuart mentioned there was an American co-writer for Ula's song. That guy, Charlie Mason, actually wrote "Rise Like a Phoenix." So that could just be another thing that might just push it through to the final.
Could be very interesting. Yerna, Rene, does that song do anything for you? It's fine. I'm getting.
It's kind of mid-table for me. I just put it behind Raiven. Raiven is my 4th place, and Renee is my 5th place. Obviously, it's okay, but it's nothing special for me. If I have to choose another song for my top 3, it'll be Sebi by Zala Kralj and Gasper Santo. I also like that one.
Which is that is a good choice as well. That is a really that was 4th for me.
Yeah.
Now
it's trip hop. It's nice.
Stuart is anxious to dive in there.
Well, there's just one other song, and then we're going to quickly go to the chat room, Tom. The song by Fed Horses with the song Tini Poznaz Konyev, which translates as "You Don't Know the Horses." So Fed Horses sings "You Don't Know the Horses." What a weird mix. Going to the chat room, Elliot's put that Charlie Mason also wrote the song "Warrior" and "Beauty Never Lies." So he's got some good experience there, and as Tristan's quite rightly put, "Rise Like a Phoenix" is a phenomenon. So, yeah, no, it's got some good pedigree there.
Interesting. Now, as we enter the final phase of tonight's show, we've looked at 3 national finals tonight. Iceland, Moldova, Slovenia. Joe, if you had to pick one of these countries to make it through to the grand final, what one would it be?
Moldova.
Jörna?
Slovenia.
Ooh. Stuart?
Yeah, I agree. I think Slovenia on that basis. If you were taking previous history, you'd say Moldova. Based on songs, Slovenia.
Yeah.
And Tristan?
If it's Ula, Slovenia.
And the other one for you to ponder tonight, and I'm going to go back down the line. Where do we think the strongest overall set of songs actually lies? Is it Iceland, Moldova, or Slovenia that are going to give the public the hardest choice when it comes to actually picking the song in their respective finals? Tristan, what are we thinking?
Well, saying that in Slovenia the public are only going to be choosing two, I'll have to say Moldova, because Moldova have got quite a lot of variety, a lot of diversity, and there's definitely three good songs there that could get through.
Stuart?
Well, since the Iceland have voted out Daniel Oliver's Licky, 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 I think it has to be Slovenia.
Yeah, no.
I have to agree with Stuart. Slovenia is the hardest national selection of the three.
And Joe?
Yeah, Slovenia, definitely.
Do you know what? I would go with Slovenia as the hardest choice. Slovenia is the one where I probably had the most debate with myself about what was actually going to happen with that final. Iceland, I think, could be very interesting though, and we'll see what happens when they have their second semi-final on Saturday evening. Now, Stuart, final look at the chat room.
Yes, Tom. So I think the general consensus is Moldova and Slovenia, with the exception of one person in the chat room who is a big fan of Hatari. And I can only imagine what costume he sat there watching this with right this moment in time. So, yes, we're mostly Moldova and Slovenia, Tom, and one for Iceland, with a particular fascination with Hatari.
And thinking of this person, it's not hard to understand why. So, moving on, we are back on Saturday night. Saturday night is another super Saturday in the world of Eurovision, and we are going to be back here live on YouTube as we look at Estée Lauder's final, as we look at the third semi-final of Melodie Festivalen, and as the panel, as from last week, give us updates on some of the other things that are going on, including Latvia's Supernova as well. Also, Stuart is back on Sunday with a very special show. Stuart, what's that about?
Yes, thanks, Tom. We're going to be reviewing the Selekcja Națională final Sunday evening, 11 p.m. Central European time. Absolutely join us. Don't forget to click the like button, click subscribe. Come and join Tom on Saturday. Come and join me on Sunday. Do not miss it. It will be fire.
We have to get it somewhere. Now, all that leaves me to do is to thank my panel this evening very much. Thank you to Joe.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks to Jörna.
Thank you.
Thanks to Stuart.
Cheers, Tom. Bye for now.
Thanks to Tristan.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
And we will see you all on Saturday night as we look at Sweden, Estonia, and Latvia. We'll see you then. Ta-da.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.